Most students don't lose marks in an exam because they can't do the maths or they haven't seen the maths before. Most students lose marks in an exam because the maths is hidden. So when a question says, expand these brackets, and they're given the bracket, they know exactly what to do because it triggers that memory. Or when they're presented with a right angle triangle and they're told using Pythagoras, again, they know what the formula is and they can use it. Or when they're given a question that says solve these two simultaneous equations and they're given the two equations, they know how to start that. But in the real GCSE exams, they don't tell you exactly what the topic is. That's something you've got to figure out for yourself. And this is where some of the students get stuck. They might say, I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to start a question like this. I hate maths. I just can't do this. But here's the important part. The maths inside that question might be something that they already know. The problem is recognizing that topic when it is hidden. And that is one of the biggest reasons why some students struggle to jump grades at GCSE Maths. And that's because of something known as AO3. The AO1 is an obvious skill. For example, you're given a fraction, convert that into a percentage. Done. But the AO3 is when the student has to think, they have to interpret, they have to decide what is happening, and they have to dig into that maths toolbox and take out the right tools for that question. And this is a skill that takes time to harness in a student. You certainly won't master it by watching one video the night before the exam. You build it through practice, by learning how to read the questions properly, how to break it down, and to spot the maths that is hidden within it. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you some examples of how some basic questions get turned into an AO3 exam style question and how you can train yourself on how to deal with it better. So take a look at this first example here. This is the AO1 version of a question that is asking a student to expand these brackets. The instruction is right there. Most students will know what to do because it triggers. That word right there, a command word, will trigger something in their head and they're going to go and expand it, all right, as they normally do. Now take a look at the same question but an AO3 version. So this question is where you're given the rectangle. You may or may not be given this diagram, by the way, but you're told that you've got the two lengths, x plus 5 and x plus 3, which is a width here. And you're told that the area of this rectangle is 63 centimeters squared, and you have to find the value of x. You see, that same question, the student now has to produce this. X plus 5 plus x plus 3 is equal to 63. Because why? They have to know the area of a rectangle and to multiply these two things together to form an equation and then expand everything that they normally have to expand in the previous example, and then they have to find the value of x. And if you're asked to find the perimeter for this same question, then you have to do the same thing. You have to expand these brackets, make it equal to 63, expand the brackets, then solve for x, and then once you find x, you're going to put it back in here, and then you have a full length. And then you're going to add them together and find the perimeter. So can you see how the same question has been transformed to an AO3 version? And this is something that students will have to recognize for themselves. Here's another question where you're given an AO1 version, simple, straightforward, find 20% of £60. Most students will be able to do this. They'll find 10% of 60, double it, and they've got 20%. However, take a look at the AO3 version. You're told a jacket is reduced by 20% in a sale. The sale price is £48. Find the original price. Now, this would most likely catch some students out. Where? Because they think that this means that they have to find 20% of £48. And they go and do that, and that is of course wrong. This is a reverse percentage question, one which they have to set up some equations and they have to go down to the 1% amount and then go back up to the 100%, or they can use the original amount, which is unknown at this point, times by the multiplier. Again, they have to work out what a reduction of 20% is. It is not anything related to a 0 and a 2. It's 0.8. So then they have to do x times by 0.8 is equal to 48. And then they do x is equal to 48 divided by 0.8. And then they will have their answer, which is now going to be that original price. Now, take a look at this third example. This one is a very wordy question. And this really freaks out a lot of students. But this is not something where you have to form an equation. This is something where you have to practice reading everything sentence by sentence. So it says a school has 360 students. 5/8 of the students are in Key Stage 4. 40% of the Key Stage 4 students study geography. 2 out of 9 of the students not in Key Stage 4 study geography. Work out the total number of students who study geography. There's a lot going on in this question. And a student is going to be reading something like that and thinking, I'm giving up. Forget this. I just don't understand what I'm going to do here. Yes, I can do fractions. Yes, I've seen percentages. But what's going on here? That's what they're going to think. So what I suggest you do with a question like this is you take it sentence by sentence. You're told the school has 360 students. Well, 5 out of 8 of these students are in Key Stage 4. Right now, you can work out how many students there are in Key Stage 4 by doing 5/8 of 360. Then it says 40% of the Key Stage 4 students, the ones that you have found, study geography. So now you have to find 40% of the amount that you've just found for the Key Stage 4 students. And then it says 2 out of 9 of the students not in Key Stage 4. study geography. So that means, you know, earlier on you calculated the students that were in Key Stage 4? Take that amount away from 360, you've got the students who are not in Key Stage 4. So you need to find 2/9 of that amount, and then you would know how many of those students study geography. Then it says, work out the total number of students who study geography. So the students that you found here and the students you found there, just add them up. And that's the question done. Example number 4 here is a ratio question. Now, this is a simple standard ratio question. This probably used to exist in your mom and dad's era, in my era as well, I suppose. You're told, share £80 in the given ratio, 5:3. And I've seen the weakest foundation students. They know that they have to add these up, divide it by 80 into that, and then they times it by 3, times it by 5, and they've got these ratios. Most students know how to do that, but the new ratio questions are nothing like this sometimes. You might be lucky if you get a question like this in today's exam papers. If you are going to get one of these, then it will be normally at the beginning of the higher paper, but certainly not the end. Anything that is at the end of the paper looks something like this. Look at this. Here's the AO3 version of a ratio question. You're told Aisha and Bilal share some money in the ratio 5:3. So of course, Aisha is 5, Bilal is 3. You should be able to recognize that much. But here it says Aisha gives Bilal £18. Now, the ratio of Aisha's money to Bilal's money is 7:6. So what's happened here? You know this? You have to set it up with 5x and 3x, and then Aisha will give £18. So Aisha's next step will be 5x minus 18. And Bilal will gain that £18, so plus 18 right there. And then you're told that this new ratio is equal to 7:6. So this is something that you have to be able to set up. And then, of course, you're going to do 5x minus 18 over 3x plus 18 is equal to 7/6. And then you just solve the rest of that. And that's just algebra. And once you found the value of x, you can work out the total amount of money that they both originally had, because you can just sub it back into 5x and 3x and then done. Now, the last one I have, and I can do loads more of examples like this, but you can see any of my GCSE Maths walkthrough videos where there's plenty of examples like the ones I've shown you, plus more. So here's the standard version. We are still given questions like this even today. We're told, here are 2 equations, solve them. This is a clear simultaneous equation question. However, the AO3 version might look something like this. So it might say something like 2 adult tickets and 3 child tickets cost £31. 3 adult tickets and 2 child tickets cost £34. Work out the cost of 1 adult and 1 child ticket. So here you have to set up from the sentences your own equations. So if you look at the first one, 2 adults could be 2a plus 3 child could be 3c is equal to 31. And for the second one, it would be 3a plus 2c is equal to 34. And then you've got the equations now. You can just number them 1 and 2 and then do what you need to do with simultaneous equations. So if you want to improve your GCSE Maths grades, don't just revise the topics in isolation. Don't only do questions where the question tells you exactly what method to use. This might help you with the basics, but it won't help you prepare for answering the harder exam questions. You need to continuously practice questions where the topic is hidden. Questions where you have to read, to think, to connect ideas. Choose your method and then solve it. Sometimes it means spotting a hidden topic. Sometimes it means a formula that you have to use. Sometimes it might be that you read a question sentence by sentence, figure out the maths that's involved here, and the rest of it just works out. A bit like putting a puzzle together. As you put the first few pieces together, you can't really see the picture, but the more pieces that you put together, you can see the overall picture then. Sometimes it means taking the next correct step, even if you can't see the full route just yet. And this skill takes practice. You certainly won't be able to master it overnight. The more you practice, however, the more your brain will start to see the patterns. Because in maths, AO1 is just where you get started. AO3 is what takes you further and gets you those higher marks. So from now on, when you're revising, don't just ask yourself, can I do this topic? Instead, ask yourself, can I do this topic if it was well hidden within a question? I hope this helps you with your learning journey. And if you have any questions, then you can leave them in the comments and I will answer them. Bye for now.